Welcome to Total Football Episode 3. Arsenal have reached an agreement with Crystal Palace for England forward Eberici Eze. Last night, news broke up by David Ornstein that an agreement has been reached with Crystal Palace for the English international forward. Massive, massive, massive news. Everyone in the football world thought that this transfer would be happening between Spurs and Crystal Palace. Just yesterday afternoon, there were reports that Spurs were looking to include Richarlison in any deal to bring Eze to Tottenham Hotspur. But after Havertz suffered an injury, Arsenal have swooped in and stolen this transfer from beneath the noses of their North London rivals. This is a massive, massive, massive deal for Arsenal Football Club. And, it's a blessing in disguise that Havertz got injured because had he not gotten injured, I don't think Arsenal would have gone in and, looked for a transfer. So, huge, huge, huge news. There are, you're looking at social media and people are wondering where is he going to play. He's a number 10. Look, he's a number 10, but he can play on the left as well. And what this could possibly mean is, Arteta could look and, or my personal opinion is that he can go and play Martinelli through the middle as well, just for that pace. Martinelli is not a finisher, he's not clinical, but he has that raw pace, and to have that in the side, to stretch defenders, it could well be a blessing as well for Martinelli. If Eze comes in on the left, he could potentially go in and play down the middle if Gyökeres is injured or if he is, having a bad game or if he is suspended or, if it's a Carabao Cup or FA Cup, he could look and utilize Martinelli down the middle. So this is massive, massive news for Arsenal Football Club. That forward line, the potential forward line of Eze, Odegaard, Saka, and Gyökeres with Declan Rice and Zubimendi. It's on paper, it's a world class attack. It's a world class attack, and there are absolutely no more excuses from Arteta or Arsenal that this season they have to bring any sort of silverware to the Emirates Stadium, whether it be a Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Champions League, Premier League, something has to happen. They have to win something this season. There are absolutely no excuses. He's got his striker. He has gotten his striker. He has strengthened the midfield and replaced Partey and Jorginho with Nogar and Zubamendi. And he's gotten cover and competition, for Saka and Martinelli in Madueke. He's now added Eze to the squad to compete down the left, but also to compete with Odegaard. And I think Odegaard last season, it was easily his worst season in an Arsenal shirt. 3 goals for the season is not good enough for our captain, but he has shown promising signs in that first game at Old Trafford last weekend against Manchester United. So, look, it's a massive, massive deal, and you have to commend the Arsenal board, for making this happen and for acting so swiftly. So, huge, 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 huge news. I mean, I look at this team now and I expect them to go and win something. You know, um, without Eze, you're looking at teams on paper. You compare Arsenal to Liverpool and City. I do think Arsenal are a bit behind. But with the addition of Eze, I think they look, they look as strong as anyone in Europe at the moment. And you're also looking at the fact that Liverpool will be missing Salah for the African Cup of Nations. That could play a role as well in the title race. But you know what? It's going to be a fantastic season for Arsenal if they can play, or if Arteta can unlock the potential of those forwards. And I think the only difference, between the three teams is management. I think Pep Guardiola, is used to the pressure. He knows what it takes to win a trophy. Whereas Arteta, he's been in the position, but he hasn't quite gotten us over the line. So it's a massive, massive season for him. And I think if he doesn't win a single trophy this season, I think the board will be looking at it and thinking, what, they've spent so much money, or they've given him so much money to invest within the squad, and for him not to bring a single trophy to the Emirates Stadium, it could well put him under pressure. this is it's such massive news for Arsenal, and as Arsenal supporters, to do this, and you're looking at the speed in which they have gotten this deal done. You know, it's 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 actually it's quite remarkable that they've managed to get this done. There were talks of them getting someone on loan to go and cover Havertz, but I think the opportunity was there to go and get Eze. And the fact that he's been an Arsenal supporter, he was at the academy, the under 13s when he was young, he is an Arsenal supporter, so it wasn't a difficult decision for him, to decide to join us over our arch rivals. So massive, massive, massive transfer there by Arsenal, and I'm hoping to see him in the squad for the weekend game against Leeds United, so we can, see what he can do in Arsenal colours. But massive, massive deal of us, and I think every Arsenal supporter will be proud of the business that we've made this season. This transfer window compared to other seasons. The fact that we've added a striker, two midfielders, two wingers, and a defender, we've gotten cover all around, and a goalkeeper in Kepa. We've gotten cover all around the team. Not just cover, but quality backup. There's a major difference between having numbers, and having numbers in terms of quality. You need depth, but you need quality in depth as well. You don't wanna affect the level of performance, when players like Saka or Odegaard or Rice misses out, So to have that quality and that backup on the bench, massive, massive, massive by Arsenal Football Club. So I think this is going to be a good season if Arteta can get his team to click. Anyway, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe, like, share, comment, ask any questions regarding Arsenal Football Club or football in general. Have a good one.